Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. And yes, it is another brand new day. Not only that, it is Christmas Day 2023. Thumbs up for that. Not a whole lot going on in my life. I don't have anywhere to go or anybody to see. So there's not a lot to do. Somebody did make a Christmas dinner type thing available in the community center, so I, with some others, went there and we had some dinner. So I had a little bit of turkey, mashed potatoes with gravy. I can't really chew much with these dentures, so I did what I could. Yay! But past that, it has been a very slow day. I did not sleep well. I got to bed late because if I go to bed early, I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was up at about 5 o'clock in the morning because of gut pain. And I have been dashing to the bathroom, constantly. So, my abdomen is in agony today. Thumbs up for that. So, past that today, I've just been doing the wash. I got some wash in there that's in the dryer. Got to go check on that as soon as I finish recording. Other than that, it is just a boring day for me. Now, yesterday, the more exciting thing I want to talk about is I have been trying to push through a lot of my executive function issues, and I use I'll turn it around so you can actually see the front of it. I use the core box and the Camp Happy Trails feature film to play a game of Final Girl. Now, it is exceptionally basic. I mean, it is exceptionally basic rules. They are not complex in the slightest. And the core set of rules has, I'm trying to keep myself centered here, and it's hard because I can't see where the centering lines are. But it has a core set of rules that comes with a game board which tracks your horror time, and horror time determines how many dice you roll when you are trying to make an action. Because if it's low horror, you roll 3 dice. And if it's medium horror, you roll 2. And if it's high horror, you only get to roll 1. And the more successes you get when you're trying to make an action, the better. So, oh boy. And every time you roll a die, 2 of the faces are blank. That is a failure. 2 of the faces have what looks like 2 cards on them. Those are partial successes. They don't count as a success, but they're not a failure either. And then they have another symbol that I, right off the top of my head, can't remember what it looks like. And that is a success. And then, so you just count up your successes, you check the card. You can have 3 successes, 2 successes, 1 successes, or no successes. And you could have cards in your hand, and you can burn 2 cards to turn a partial success into a full success. Because the full successes are the only things that count. You can turn a partial success into a full success, but you can't turn a failure into anything. And then you've got time that you're tracking. And some of the things you do, you can gain more time, and some of the things you can lose time. And if you lose enough time, your turn ends just instantly, no matter what you were doing. And you need time when you end your action phase, when you're playing your cards, because in the next turn, you use your time that you didn't use to buy cards to play in your next action phase where you play cards. So you need time to buy cards, but you have to burn time to play your actions. Possibly. If you roll real well, you might gain time. But again, it is mega abstracted because on the board they have these they're little wooden meeples. You know, they represent people. You got a little purple one, it's you. There's a red one, that's the killer. And then there's a bunch of yellow ones that are the victims. Now, I've mentioned that the few times that I've talked about this, that just like in horror movies, they gamify the bad person getting stronger. So every time the bad guy kills, I can't remember what it's called, but bloodlust. There we are. Bloodlust meter goes up. And as the bloodlust meter goes up, the bad guy gets stronger. Because when you start off low, it has a movement and attack. And for each of these, it's a little boot and a little dagger. And they have a numerical value for the bloodlust. And every time you have a card where the character moves or makes an attack to kill, you take a look at the chart on the bloodlust because, it has one boot. But with this amount of bloodlust, one boot equals move 2 squares. Whereas lower bloodlust, it might be one boot equals move 1 square. And it's bad when it's up here when one boot equals 3 squares. Because, oh boy, then they can go all across the map in one move. But you're playing your cards, you're making your moves, and again, it is extremely abstracted. Because if the killer moves into a place where there are some victim meeples, meeples only have 1 hit point. Victims only have 1 hit point. The bad guy does a minimum of 1 point of damage. So if the bad guy's going to make a victim killing attack, it's instant death. And depending on the effects that you pull up on various cards, maybe 2 characters. The first event I had was if the bad guy was in a square with 2 characters, 2 victims in it, and it killed one of them, both would die. So you got mega kills. But with each kill, bloodlust goes up. And you can have the bad guy kill one, bump up the bloodlust higher. So they get stronger and tougher on the next kill, which bumps it up even tougher. The bad guy gets strong fast. And of course, you are just a character who, if you want to move, like walk, well, you have to play the walk card if you have it in your hand. And then you have to roll for successes. And you may have lose time and lose health. Because that can happen too. Now when you have health, well, my character had 5 hearts of health. And the bad guy, Hans the Butcher, had 12 hearts of health. And then he picked up 2 dark powers that gave him extra health. He had then like 16 or 17 health by the time that was all done. And by the time it was, all the terror cards were turned over, because every turn you're turning over a terror card, and then you go through what it says. You effectively have 10 turns before the finale. And then in the finale, the bad guy is as strong as they're going to get, except they're going to get stronger as they keep killing. So I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but you got to go with it. But still, it is abstracted in that fashion. Now, Hans the Butcher is a butcher, wears a metal pig mask and has a big apron and kills with all sorts of weapons, like a sledge-hammer and at least a cleaver. So it's abstracted in that, he walks into an area with 2 victim meeples, and then on the card, it has 2 daggers. They only have 1 hit point. He does a minimum of 1 hit point. You take those 2 yellow meeples off there, you put them in the dead pile, you bump up the bloodlust manner. Very abstracted. Remembering, of course, that this is somebody who hears a noise in the woods, looks up, and then the big, heavy hunk of metal on the end of a stick bludgeons into their body, and then this guy continues slamming it into them as they crawl away, just screaming and bleeding and crying and desperate to live until, well, the last blow is the one that finally cracks their skull open, or crushes their ribs enough, or breaks their bones enough that they bleed out. And then the other, well, he's the one that he took the cleaver to. And that isn't going to be pleasant now, is it? So in a way, it's a good thing it's abstracted, because it's hard to make actual bloody, violent murder fun and funny. Because actual violent, bloody murder is horrific. Just like the game is supposed to be. It's horror. So on the one hand, it is abstracted, and on the other hand, they've got to keep it visceral enough that you feel it. And of course, you have to use your imagination a lot, because, yeah, I'm just picking up 2 meeples off here and moving them onto the dead pile onto the board. But actually, that's the person that's, crab walking backward through the grass as this like 6.5 foot guy with a sledge-hammer in one hand is walking through them, stars over their shoulders, and then they lift it up and wham! And that's pretty horrific right there. So thumbs up for that. Past that, I did not do much. Now, I do have to thank Nexor EH. They gifted me $200 yesterday as a Christmas present to go out and buy things. Walmart was closing at 6 o'clock. I found out that this had happened at about 5:05. So 5:15, I charged out into the wet and cold to go to Walmart. I bought some stuff that I've eaten already. Is just junk to eat. That was just snack junk. I bought real food, so I got real food to eat. I bought some sodas to drink, and then I bought another table, which I had mentioned that I was going to do next payday, but thank you, Nexar EH. And this is the table that I was set up right out here in front of my refrigerator, played the game of Final Girl on, because it spreads out. It is a big game that you've got your killer board here, you've got your location board here, you've got the play board here, you've got cards you put up above here, you've got your girl card that you put down here, all the cards that you got to pick and choose from go over here, and then you got a whole bunch of discard areas up. It is a lot of area on a table. I mean, literally, you're using up about this much space. It is big, and this is if you keep it all tucked in tight. So you need the space to do it. They're not expensive, which of course means you get what you pay for. They work, the tables, they're not level, they're not straight, but they work and you can play games on them, so thumbs up for that. But yeah, I made it there and back, and so it was good, aside from the fact that, which had nothing to do with any gifting, but I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning, wasn't quite sure what was going on, why I happened to wake up, rolled over onto my other side, at which point it felt like I had a butcher knife stabbed into my guts. And so it was like, oh, this is why I woke up. And so it's been fun ever since. Ugh. So, past that, I have not been doing much. I have been looking at my games over there and trying to get them out so that I can play the various things. I really like playing Tin Helm, but I want to do Iron Helm, and I got that out, and I've been reading the rules a lot. I need a play mat for it and Tin Helm, and even 8-Bit Dungeon has a play mat that you can get. The play mats help, especially when they're made out of neoprene, and these cards go slickly sliding over everything, and they help with organization. The problem is, of course, most of these neoprene mats end up costing more than the actual game itself. So that's fun, because you can get like 8-Bit Dungeon for, I think it was $15, and then you pay shipping and all that, and the neoprene mat to play it is $22. And then you pay for the shipping. So thumbs up. Anyway though, yeah, I haven't been doing much because we've been coming up on Christmas and the weather's been terrible. And with my social anxieties and such, I've been largely staying in. I've been not getting in as much exercise as I usually do, and I don't like that. But I have been trying to think of creative stuff as much as I can as well. Not just creatively on a solo RPG level, which I have been. I've been thinking up of world stories and scenarios and stuff to build on, to go with. I mean, it gets my imagination. Excitement was the word, but it's that too. It gets my excitement and imagination fired up just thinking about these things, whether or not I actually play them. Because as I mentioned before, my brain is such that owning the thing and thinking about the thing is almost as much fun as playing the thing. And in some cases, better than playing the thing. That's why I do solo stuff, because it's a whole lot better than trying to play in the community. So, I mean, there's game stuff out there, and I'm hoping to try and work up to playing at maybe the game store in town. But we shall see. We shall see. Past that, been thinking of my setting, you know, with the cosmology of the multiverses, our multiverse, our universe within that multiverse, the particular universe and setting that seems like ours and is ours, but of course is ours for the sake of a fictional setting, and that setting being the inside-outside Razor's Edge. I've been thinking a lot about that. I think a lot about, again, the cryptid part. Largely, that wasn't even a word, largely because I had thought about all my other stuff for a lot, and then I started thinking of the cryptid stuff. So I've got a lot still to make up for lost time to have an equal amount of cryptid stuff as I do with the other setting. The other part is I just like the whole setting, which it's a grimdark setting in that, of course, the cryptids are unable to make that conceptual leap in that they should not eat human beings. And so they do. And I like cryptids. Not because they devour human beings. In fact, as someone who would be eaten by a cryptid, I'm against that sort of thing. I don't want to be suddenly and violently murdered by something I cannot see or otherwise interact with. That would be bad. But for fiction, I love my cryptids. I mean, I love them. I love them as if they were my favorite child. They are a beautiful and wonderful species that, as I've mentioned, with their moral compass being absolutely broken, that no matter which direction it's pointing on a dial, that direction can be considered true north. So, thumbs up for that. Only when that 1 in 100 and every 15 billion years, our star system regenerates and renews with a new star. The same star, just regenerated. But new planets, new life, new everything except old us coming back. Now I can't even remember where I was going with that because, boy, I love having ADHD. Anyway, though, oh yes, it was on another thing that I'll talk about another day, because now I've been so irate at myself for forgetting that I've lost my enthusiasm for the topic. Which is just that portion of the whole cryptid stuff. I mean, the normal cryptid stuff, yeah, I want to write the stories. I've got so many stories, so much stuff that I've forgotten. And I've almost forgotten now more than I remember. So, thumbs up for that! Anyway, though, I gotta go check on my laundry. So, before I do that, I want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons that are not up on the screen yet. I'm gonna get the Patreon patrons back up here on the screen, but I don't have them up here yet. Thank you, each and every person that is still a Patreon patron. There's a lot less of you than there used to be. I understand why. My life has been hell, and my content creation has suffered because of that. But I'm going to get back into the flow, and so thank you, each and every one of you that has stuck with me. For everybody that leaves me comments, again, thank you so very much. You are beautiful and awesome people. I'm going to be thanking people on here again by name, but until that time, each and every one of you that leaves me a comment, you are beautiful and awesome. If you think about leaving me a comment but don't, you're still beautiful and awesome. So thumbs up. Thank you all. So hey, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. So through the magic of editing, you take care, and I'll see you later.